Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
Hey, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, everything in between, patriots and posers. Welcome to Dion's Daily Dose. I'm going to do a little bit different format today. I'm not going to have any articles. I'm not going to have any stuff that I want to share with you as far as big major events. I just want to talk to you for a little while about the misconceptions that are out there about how we have been programmed to believe that evil is ugly. Hollywood has done a fantastic job in this regard, and I'll get more into it. But when you think, especially of your major Hollywood films and stuff like that, when you think of Satan, the devil, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, they've done a really good job of convincing us that it's this ugly, almost cartoon-like, laughable creature with the horns and the red skin and all of that. I would argue that evil is far more insidious than that. That it's not nearly as easy to spot, especially in everyday life. But more importantly, I would argue that if you, and I'm not going to make this super religious, I just want to talk about evil in general. Evil transcends religion. It transcends even moral code. You know if something is right or wrong. I mean, when you talk to people, you easily know, and before I get off on a tangent, you know if the way you treat someone is bad or good. And it doesn't have much to do with moral code. It doesn't have much to do with being a good Christian or being religious or any of that stuff. It's you treat people how you want to be treated. If you're exploiting people, if you are using people, that's bad. I think that's pretty universally agreed. But evil itself, I think, is hard to quantify, at least without relying on a moral compass. That said, we can look at Hollywood, right? All of the major players, right, are very attractive, very well-dressed. They come off. Remember that, just to touch on religion for just a second, Satan is portrayed in the movies very differently from biblical accuracy. Remember, he was the most beautiful of angels. He was the right hand of God himself or herself, because God transcends gender. I think that's a discussion for another time. But it's very easy to fall into that rut and know that evil is easy to see. It's easy to recognize. Let's look at Star Wars. So when you think, like, I don't know if any of you are gamers, right? But there's a very well-known video game called Knights of the Old Republic. And it was a role-playing game for PC that came out. And it was a very good game. Amazing game, as a matter of fact. But through the course of the game, your actions determined whether you went to the light side of the Force or the dark side of the Force. And there's a reason I'm concentrating on Star Wars, because everybody knows Star Wars. Everybody knows the Sith, the Jedi, right? If you went to the light side, you remained attractive, your character looked good, it was very pleasant and pleasing. But if you started to dabble in the dark side, in the evil of the Force, that side with the Force lightning and the chokes and all that stuff, right? Your character's appearance would change. It would gradually go more and more ugly. You would develop cracks in your skin tone would change, your skin texture would change, and you'd look very different. Now, why does this matter? Because it's easy to fall into that falsehood. The falsehood that evil is easily spotted, that those who are hideous are not as pure as those who are beautiful, right? Beauty, yeah, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but you can look at someone that's misshapen and look at someone that has perfect features, and obviously there's a pleasing element to the perfect features, to the symmetry. The human mind is actually designed to appreciate symmetry, to look for it. That's why, and there's articles out there. You can go do your own research if you want. But the most successful Hollywood stars, the most beautiful people, are the ones that faces are very symmetrical. That one side is exactly like the other, or at least as close as possible. No human is 100%. But there's actually an app. Let's see. My wife showed it to me. I forget what it's on, but there's an app that you can actually, you take a picture of your face, right? And it separates each side and it basically mirrors it. So you have two faces, and one is like this side of your face mirrored and the other is this side of your face mirrored. And it looks like two different people. It's interesting. Excuse me. Because our faces are not symmetrical. But we've been led to believe that beauty is good and ugly is bad. Now, I don't know about you, but for example, those with Down syndrome, those with serious disabilities that maybe alter their appearance. I don't know about you, but every single person that I've encountered that has that kind of disability is the most incredible human being. They are kind, they are gentle. Of course, outliers exist. I'm not saying 100%, but the majority, right? The vast majority of those who are afflicted with these conditions are better people than the most beautiful out there. Think of it this way. When you went to high school, right? I'm guessing that all of you watching right now are no longer in high school, but maybe you are. Think about your high school experience. Think about those people in high school that were the most attractive, right? The mean girls, the jocks, not all of them, but the people towards the top of the hierarchy, were they good people? Did they treat people with respect? Were they kind? Were they nice? No, but the little nerdy kids generally were, if you got a chance to know them, right? They were generally kind. They were generally nice. It's interesting how society has shaped our opinion of these things. The reason I even bring this up is because when you look at things, it's important to look deeper than the surface. You know, we're told, don't judge a book by its cover. But at the same time, we're told that you want to be part of the beautiful people. You want to be part of that crowd. They almost push it on us, right? With our music, with our television, with the agenda. Sorry, Jack. Hey, we're shown two different things. We're shown a society that values beauty, finer things. Look at the lineup of your popular TV shows and movies. Most of those people, I would argue, are not good people. Not exclusively. Again, nothing's 100%. But look at the lineup of Hollywood. Look at these people that are supposed to be beautiful and people that we look up to, and all of this, and they're horrible human beings, absolutely horrible. We won't even get into unprovable things at the moment. The horrible things that they do. Let's just look at the person that they are. All this money, and other than donating to a charity, right, at times for publicity, what actual change do they bring about? They have a massive platform, a massive amount of people that listen to them. What actual changes do they bring about? Do they work towards things? Now, again, there are those that do, but the majority of them, they live in their own bubble, in their own world. And it's a completely different world than we live in. Beauty is not always the litmus test for good or evil. Again, the prince of lies, the father of lies, is supposed to be absolutely gorgeous, amazing, probably breathtakingly so, more so than any human. Why is this? Because it's so easy to avoid making mistakes when it's laid out for you, right? Oh, if you do this, you're going to be hideous and ugly. If you do this, you're going to be beautiful. And you're doing the right thing. Back to the video game, right? By doing the right thing, you're going to be nice looking, you're going to be incredible. But the truth is far more complicated. It's far, far more complicated. Let's look at these treatments, right? There are articles out there about these blood transfusions, right, that are obtained from young people, and it's to infuse your skin and make you younger and potentially extend your life. Is that a good thing? Is that something that it's not something that I could do and be comfortable with? I'd lose a little bit of sleep over that. Where'd the blood come from? How's this okay? These stars, these megastars especially, will tell you that success is the most important thing to them. They have done everything they had to do in order to get this success and become what they are. Now, they don't expound on that, but we've seen it on the covers of magazines, on all this stuff with the symbols and the cover in the eye and all that stuff. You do your own research on that. Look into it. Beauty is not the litmus test. It is not the yes or no. There's far more insidious methods being deployed. There's so much deception going on. There's so many things that we're being showed as this, but it's actually this. And unfortunately, so many people have been ingrained to think, but two-dimensionally, one side or the other, right? Black and white. No shades of gray. No deception involved. If it's pretty, it's okay. If it's ugly, it's bad. And I believe that's by design. That's absolutely the way that it was intended, and it's having the appropriate effect. If you look at the most popular artists, again, the people that they're not ugly, right? They're very beautiful, but yet these people do very bad things. Very bad things. Let's just focus for a moment. Forget everything else. Let's just look at the college admission scandal. These are beautiful people. These are Hollywood. These are very attractive. They dress the best. They got the big, beautiful houses and the nice cars, and we all want to be them, right? They're not doing positive things. They're paying people off to get their kid into college. Now, whether you would do that or not, that's up to you. But it's not something that the average person celebrates. It's not something that we look at and go, well, that's a good thing. That's a positive role model, right? Again, it's very, very insidious, and it's very multi-layered, multifaceted. I'm going to say this. I think that we need to go back to Hollywood the way it was in the early days, where they were the court jesters of the masses, right? Dance for me, and I will give you this gold piece. That's it. Entertain me. That's your job. I don't care what you think. I don't care about your opinions. I don't care what how bad you hate the president. Entertain me. That's it. Unfortunately, it's become this big, huge culture, and there's all this, and you can deep dive and go down that rabbit hole and learn all kinds of crazy stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about at the base level. These people are not role models, but yet you look at the opposite side, right? Our grizzled veterans who have gone out there and put their lives on the line so that we have the freedoms. I have the freedom to, in my home, right, create this show, this platform where I can talk to you and we can have a discussion because these people put their lives on the line. I have this freedom because of them. And many of them are homeless. They're on the street. They got big, long, scraggly beards and hair all messed up and dirty. They're not pretty, but they're a better person than that Lamborghini driving superstar. Again, there are countless examples. I could be here all day with it. I'm not gonna put you through that. I'm gonna tell you about my progress with the bike. So I got my bike, right, and the first couple of days I'm very because it's a much bigger bike than the one that I rode for my safety class. Once again, a shout out to Kirsting Cycle Center, which is where I took my class at, and $175. It's a 3-day course. It's worth it. It's so worth it. If you're thinking about getting your license, or you haven't ridden in quite a while, or you're getting back into it, just getting into it, it's worth it. I don't have any kind of deal with them. I'm not getting a kickback, but they did a really good job. I recommend it. That said, I went out, I got my bike, started off, and I watched a lot of videos about the proper technique and how to get better and things to do. I started going to the Marquette Mall parking lot here in Michigan City and just cruising around, just starting off with stopping. Again, much bigger bike. For those of you that may not have seen the previous video, I will show you the bike. You can kind of see it here, but I'll share it for you. About the biggest bike you can get, because I wanted comfort. That was the most important thing to me, was being comfortable. So there you go. That's my bike. Those are the houses across the street. But that's what I got. And going from the little bitty bikes to that, it's quite an experience. So big difference. Took it out, started doing the starts, the stops, the coming to a stop, and stopping very, very slow, going. It's called the slow race, right? And you're basically going at a walking speed, and you're keeping the bike straight up. Now, if you're not using the friction zone, which is the clutch and how far it goes in and out, right? There's that zone there where it catches. The throttle on the right, and use your rear brake. You don't need your front brake. You go nice and slow, and you keep the bike up, and it helps you to get better. I did that for days. Hard stops, emergency stops, slow speed turns. Then I worked up to big circles, then smaller and smaller circles. There's a guy who does a course. He sells DVDs. I want to say Palladino. His nickname's Motorman. He's on YouTube, and he's quite famous. He's been doing this for many, many years. He was a motorcycle safety instructor, or excuse me, he trained the motorcycle cops, right? Motor officers instructor. And I watched a number of his videos, and watching its bike just like mine, these big, massive Harleys, doing figure eights in the size of 2 parking spaces, right? Well, I guess 4 technically, because 2 here and then 2 back. So you take 2 parking spaces, side by side, and then extend it the other way. So 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. So I guess total of 4 parking spaces. But he can do figure 8s in that size with these big bikes. Like, mind blowing just watching him do it. And I'm like, I want to be able to do that. Not because I want to show off, but because the more comfortable I feel with the bike, the safer I feel on the road, and the more enjoyable it becomes. That's one of the things he says is the more practice you have, the longer you ride, the more experience you become, the more enjoyable riding is. And I found that to be the case, because starting off, I'm just like, okay, all right, yeah, I'm good. I know how to ride, but the more time I spent in the parking lot doing the figure, now I can do the figure 8, but I can't do it that tight yet. I'm working on it. I'm getting there. But I can do circles. I can do slow speed turns. I can do start from a stop doing turns, all that. Just in about 300 miles. That's about what I put. About 300 miles on my bike, just in the parking lot. That one plus a couple other parking lots that I moved to. But it's so important. It's just like driving a car. When you first get your license and you get in there, you need that time, right? You need that time to get better, to learn the vehicle, to learn what it can do, how long it takes to stop, how much pressure is needed on the accelerator. Those are all things you learn initially when you start driving. And it differs based on the vehicle, right? My wife's Kia drives very differently than my Terrain. 2 different vehicles. That's why it's important to get familiar with your vehicle. So I've been doing that. So I'm hoping that we got this weather, right? Did you guys hear it's supposed to snow? They're actually calling for snow. Tomorrow night out, something like that. Sometime in the next week. Not happy. I'm not happy at all. I'm actually pretty upset about it. I really want to ride, but that's the reason why I have not been on these nights. That even in the 40s, I've been out doing it to get better, so that when it is nice, I don't have to go to the parking lot and practice. I can just go ride, just go enjoy the bike that I got, and enjoy being on it. I love it. I forgot how much I enjoyed riding my bike back when I was much much younger. It really is an experience, and it only gets better the more practice you have. The better you are with it, the more enjoyable it is. You don't get as nervous on curves. You don't get as nervous when you stop and start. All that is just practiced now. I got it right. I'm far from perfect. I still have learning to do, but I feel far more comfortable than I did. I'm just going to leave you with this thought. We're going to get more in depth on this topic, because there are some things that I want to show you, but not tonight. Think about things in the way they're presented to you, right? We all know that the media spins a narrative, right? Depending on the station is the narrative that's spun. Fox News and CNN are going to report the same story, but they're going to show it a little differently, right? They're going to emphasize this part and downplay this part. Now, if the news is doing that, imagine what these movies are doing, these TV shows. Imagine the way that the narrative is being portrayed, the things that are being pushed onto you as okay. You can pick any subject you want. You can see it prevalent in the shows, the TV shows, the movies, all these things. And depending on what you're looking for, you'll find it. But these things are all part of a larger narrative, a larger experiment to see what it takes to make people believe things. A lie repeated often enough is accepted as the truth, right? I forget who said it, but We all know that's true. Look at COVID. These death rates. You notice they don't show you how many people have recovered. They don't show you the positives for your cells, right? And they're trying to push a certain agenda, whatever that agenda may be, positive, negative. They're going for a certain outcome. Hollywood's no different. Evil is no different. I just want to leave you with this thought, and then we're going to end it for tonight. If you acknowledge that God is real, then you have to acknowledge that Satan is real. The devil, whomever, right? Good, evil. If the Bible is accurate, then Lucifer, also known as Morning Star, and it's prevalent everywhere if you look into it, right, is older than man and also extremely intelligent, extremely powerful. And we know from reading the Bible that angels are exceedingly powerful. Look at the things that angels have done just in the Old Testament, right? They have foretold events. They have destroyed entire cities. They have done some very impressive things. Now, Jesus was tempted in the desert and was told, I will give you the kingdoms of heaven. I will make you king of all earth. How could Satan give that to Jesus if it was not his to begin with? Wouldn't Jesus have said, you can't give me that because it's not yours? He didn't say that. He said, no, not interested. Because it's already here. If you don't think that Satan, Lucifer, whomever, however you want to call him, has been thinking about us and how to manipulate us for a very, very long time, then I truly feel bad for you, because it is, but I am not here to suggest that they are in any way, shape, or form nearly as powerful as God, but they are more powerful than we are, and they are more intelligent than we are. What does this mean? This means that plans and plots and things have been in motion for many, many, many years. And you and I are going to need to talk about this, to figure out what we need to do. And part of that is recognizing that evil's not ugly. Evil is beautiful. Otherwise, it wouldn't be tempting. These things are going to be temptations to people, to money. And we know about money. We've been told about that, but also the beauty, right? These things wouldn't be tempting if they weren't also desirable. Just think about that. Like I said, I got some good stuff coming up for you. Just been riding my bike, and if it's nice out, I'm probably going to be riding the bike. So, but I think I'm gonna do a couple more videos of showing you guys some of my experiences on the road. We'll get to that. But thanks for joining me as always. I'll cut it here, and I got some good stuff coming up. Some good, interesting, deep, thought-provoking discussions, and some people that I think it would be good to hear from. So thanks for joining me. God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers Sean Holgram and Michael Beatty. Copyright 2021. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.